Hey, Laker Nation. This is Lakers News Fan Report checking in from El Segundo. Lights on, camera rolling, and I'm coming at you with a calm but deadly update that can shift who finishes games next month. No clickbait, no fog. Tonight's breakdown ties together minutes, money, and identity in a way that actually matters when the game is in the mud. I'm going to walk you through what the staff is demanding from Bronny on the floor, how his contract really works in the apron era, why the front office is choosing patience over panic, and how all of that quietly protects February and supercharges July. Ride with me until the end, and I'll land the clean contract line in one sentence you can forward to your group chat without explanation. Quick roadmap so you know exactly what you're getting. First, the pulse of this roster right now. What's humming, what's not, and why the second unit is where we either win time or bleed it. Then the basketball checklist for Bronny and why it solves 3 problems that keep showing up on film. After that, cap math in plain English, how the structure of his deal protects flexibility without freezing his growth. Then the decision windows and what can actually change and when. And finally, the 8-week plan for minutes matchups and what a good night looks like for him in this version of the Lakers. Keep it locked. This is the stuff that separates noise from navigation. Let's start on the floor because the court never lies. Our offense has a thermostat, and its name is Luka. He bends the defense before the first dribble and forces the weak side to declare early. When the ball lives at the nail and the tag comes from the corner, the player standing in that corner isn't background. He's a gear. Bronny's value starts here. He runs into space on time. He flattens to the corner early. He doesn't drift into the slot. And he understands that the first job is to make the tagger wrong. Hold the corner if the stunt is late, cut through the gap if the strong side foot shows, and fire on the catch without apology. That's how you reduce friction on Luka's reads and keep the second unit from playing against a set defense every other trip. And that's offense. On defense, the staff's script is strict and simple. Point of attack pressure without cheap fouls, navigation over the top instead of dying on screens, early tags on the roller so the big doesn't have to drop too deep, and loud communication so the back line isn't guessing. Watch the bench minutes that work, and you'll see the pattern. No live ball turnovers, corner threes taken in rhythm, and 1 or 2 event plays that flip possession count. Bronny's job is to make that pattern repeatable, not to chase a box score that reads pretty on Twitter. The coaches don't want volume. They want decision speed. Shoot it or swing it. Get skinny over screens. Finish possessions with a body. Reset spacing without waving for touches. It's not glamorous, but it stacks into wins. Now let's talk fit, because roles are real when you pencil them into lineups. Next to Luka, Bronny is a gravity manager. Occupy the weakest helper, be shot ready on the catch, and cut on the precise beat the nail help shows. That tiny timing window is where second side dunks and baseline skips are born. Next to Austin Reeves, he becomes a rhythm guard. Swing. Attack that tilted seam with 2 hard dribbles and a kick, then clear the paint so Austin can play chess with his pivot. Next to a defensive bulldog like Marcus Smart, he takes the lesser handler, keeps Smart on the primary, and becomes the hinge of our switch rules so we don't invite mismatches just to look active. In jumbo looks with Rui and Ayton, he runs the wing, sprints to flatten the weak side corner so Rui's bully drives have room, and sprints back to tag early so the big isn't glued to the restricted area. This is role clarity. It keeps the group from wasting possessions because everyone knows where to stand and why. It also matters now because LeBron's sciatica recovery has forced stretches where tempo and spacing wobble. When he sits, we can't afford a guard who dribbles the air out of the ball. We need pace, corners filled, and the ball delivered on time. When he returns, and the vibe around the gym is that the plan is to be smart, not heroic. Bronny's lane narrows, but the checklist doesn't change. Defend your spot, sprint your lanes, and eliminate live ball mistakes. The second unit wins or loses on those rules, not on headlines. All right, money time. Let's translate the cap without turning this into an accounting class. Bronny is on a standard multi-year NBA contract. That means he's roster eligible every night. No two-way game limits, no administrative drama. The number is small by league standards and shaped on a staircase. This season clean and predictable. Next season controlled with partial guarantees. And an out year with a team option that puts the steering wheel in the club's hands. In the apron era, that shape is gold. First apron and second apron rules don't just tax you. They steal tools. A tiny, trustworthy cap hit is like carrying a Swiss Army knife in February. You can add him to a package to match money without swallowing poison years. Or you can keep him and stabilize the bench when bodies are light. The front office's stance is crystal. Development in purple and gold is the plan, not shopping. But good front offices keep doors open so they never have to overpay because time ran out. The value here is the flexibility you protect without shrinking the basketball roll. That's real roster engineering, not just a headline. Dates matter, so here are the decision windows that actually exist. There is no midseason trapdoor, no conversion to a two-way, no demotion, no surprise clause. Year 2 is set. The next meaningful decision sits in the summer when partial guarantees trigger and you decide whether the fourth-year team option remains a future lever or becomes part of a bigger plan. That's the same window where you decide on a mid-tier wing, weigh the center spot around Luka's role partner, and set the second unit guard room. Kicking the Bronny choice to that window isn't indecision, it's information. It gives you a full season of tape, clarity on LeBron's horizon, a real market for role players, and honest health reads. In the apron world, the biggest flex is not having to flex in November. Now 8 weeks on the calendar and how he'll actually be used. Minutes go up against teams that live on guard actions, handoffs, and pull-up threes because point-of-attack accountability keeps the second unit out of rotation. Minutes shrink versus jumbo wing rooms that test switches with strength. That's not a benching, that's matchups. Expect scripted stints. A short burst next to Luka to test corner volume. A stretch with Reeves to keep the ball alive. And a defensive assignment with Smart so he can learn angles from a master without being fed to wolves. The staff wants 2 event plays per night from him, a strip that kills an action, a chase-down contest that forces a kick-out, a deflection that creates a 3-on-2. Stacking those moments turns a hold-serve bench into a win-time bench. And on nights when the rotation tightens or we need reps, G-League minutes are on the table by design. This organization treats that pipeline like a lab. Get 30 clean possessions of the exact reads you need, then bring it back up. No stigma, no drama. It's development with a clock. Culture isn't a hashtag in this building, it's guardrails. The room polices effort, veterans praise simple basketball, and the staff is ruthless with sloppiness. That's why the last name narrative has no traction here. The message to Bronny is the same message to every young guard who's made it in this league. You don't have to be loud to be valuable. You have to be on time. Early offense when it's there, sprint into actions, plant your feet on the catch, and put the ball on the deck only when the lane tells you yes. If you keep turnovers at 0 and you defend without fouling, coaches trust you. If you chase steals and drift on the weak side, they don't. The beauty of his current role is that the bar is strict and attainable. Meet it 4 out of 7 nights and minutes grow naturally. Miss it and the leash tightens. That's not politics. That's basketball. Let me give you concrete sequences so you can picture it the same way I do in the film room. Early clock push, Reeves advances, Luka trails, Bronny sprints to the weak side corner and plants. The nail help commits to the roll. Luka's eyes find the skip. The ball travels in the air longer than it stays in Bronny's hands. A catch-and-shoot 3 that rotates before the defense can close. Middle quarter half court. Spain action gets switched. The roller is jammed. Bronny is on the second side. One hard dribble into the seam, shoulder into the chest, simple kick to the slot for a 0.5 decision. End of quarter. Opponent tries to drag Luka into a guard screen. Bronny jumps to the top lock, shades the hip, and forces a reset at 8 on the clock. That's a hidden stop because it kills their first and second read. Defense after turnover. Run like your hair's on fire, find a body, don't reach at the elbow, contest vertical at the rim. That's an energy play, not a hero play. You stack 5 of those and a coach gives you more rope. Now the elephant in every Lakers conversation, LeBron's health and horizon. It touches everything, pace, spacing, closing groups, and the weight of April. The front office won't guess. They build a guard room that works whether he's rolling or resting. If he plays through and points to another run, Bronny's lane stays tight but valuable. Defense, spacing, decision speed. If LeBron eventually chooses a different path, the Lakers still hold control over Bronny's next year and can widen the role in July without rewriting the cap today. That's why you don't rip up this deal in November. The contract is doing its job, keeping the player available and the organization in control. I know some of you want deadline talk. Should this tiny contract be used as seasoning in a package if a two-way wing shakes loose? The honest read: development here is the plan, but the office stays on the phone. A cheap, playable guard who fits next to stars is often more valuable than the late second you'd get in a rush job. If the perfect wing becomes real at the perfect price, everything gets discussed because that's the league. Until then, keeping a piece that actually helps you win Tuesday nights is smarter than inventing a story for Wednesday morning. Let's define a good Bronny night with no romance. Just reality. 5 to 8 points on in-rhythm corner looks, one sharp second-side drive that creates an advantage and ends in a simple pass. 0 live ball turnovers, one event play on defense that kills a possession. Honest work over screens and no ball stopping. You give a second unit 2 or 3 clean possessions and a stop, you win time. You win time, your stars close fresher. Your stars close fresher, the fourth quarter feels different. That's how role players matter on a contender. All right, you stuck with me. So here's the contract update in the cleanest terms possible, exactly as it stands tonight. The Lakers are keeping Bronny James on his standard multi-year contract with no midseason changes, no conversion, no demotion, no rework. Year 2 stays exactly as structured. The next real decision sits in the summer when partial guarantees flip on year 3, and the 4th season remains a team option. On the floor, the plan is matchup-driven minutes, rising corner 3 volume, and a hard standard on point-of-attack defense. In the office, the plan is to protect February flexibility and preserve every option for July. That's the headline. Stability now, leverage later, development every day. Before I close this out, I want your read, straight, specific, and from the heart. Would you ride the season exactly like this and revisit the guarantees in July? Or would you package small deals at the deadline to chase a win-now wing, even if it taxes development reps? What have you seen in Bronny's point-of-attack work, his timing on roller tags, and his corner shooting that makes you bullish or cautious? If LeBron signals late that he's running it back, does that change your stance on year 3? Or do you keep the standard and let the tape decide? Tell me which second-unit guard mix you trust most right now and why. Luka Bronny Reeves, Smart Reeves Bronny, or a jumbo look with Rui and a single handler. I'll pin the smartest breakdown next upload so this channel keeps sounding like the locker room. Honest, detailed, and about basketball. My final read, short and professional. Staying steady on Bronny's contract is the right move for a team balancing health, usage, and the apron. It keeps the rotation coherent now, protects the deadline, and preserves real choices for the summer. You don't chase a headline in November when the same structure gives you a better one in May. If this kind of clear, In the Weeds update makes you a smarter fan, hit subscribe, tap the bell so you don't miss the next trigger date, and drop a like so more Lakers fans get the context instead of the chaos. This is Lakers News Fan Report, where we take the rumor, strip the noise, and leave you with the basketball.